side an articular, on the other side the articular fell out. So you can see where it should be, but that's the articular. And you can see how it really is lying kind of encased by the dermal bones in the lower jaw. So turtles are really nice, these sea turtles especially. Okay, hyoid arch. We get to the hyoid arch, and this is actually not the best sea turtle for this because it's busted up, but we can't see the columella except for a tiny little piece that broke off. But the columella in these guys, or stapes, is a very thin bone that extends from the tympanic membrane or eardrum through this tiny little hole here, and it runs all the way in then to the oval window. And one of our sea turtle skulls, not this one, you can actually see that on one side of the skull. It's still there. So on this one, you don't see it, so I can't show you. And then there's the hyoid arch skeleton, and we actually do have that because we have this little block that has a turtle hyobranchial apparatus, and you can see there the corpus of the hyobranchial apparatus, which is basically the basihyle, and then the ceratohyals coming around like that. Okay, so there's the corpus or body, and the arms or ceratobranchial elements coming around like that. Corpus there. And then there's the branchial arches, which don't show up super well on here, but those are branchial arches, 1 and 2, kind of behind there, extending back, and it really just looks like one. Not sure what that is, but there they are, extending back from there. Okay. Almost done. One last element or part of the skull. We've done dermatocranium, splanktocranium. What's left? Chondrocranium. Okay. So for the chondrocranium, we have the bones of the occipital region. So there's one up above the foramen magnum, this one here, and that would be the supra-occipital. Okay. There's a pair of bones that lie on either side of the foramen magnum, and those would be the exoccipitals, and then down at the base of the foramen magnum here would be a basioccipital. Okay. So very nice, easy to see in the turtle. There's an occipital condyle, and notice there's only really one occipital condyle in turtles, unlike the necturus that has two, and mammals have two. Then there's the bones of the otic capsule, and at the back of the otic capsule is the opisthotic, and that's this thing we see here on either side, so just lying lateral to the exoccipital. Okay, so that's here and here. Okay, that's opisthotic. The prootic is a little bit hard to see. We can see it if we peer through the orbit, but I'm just going to sort of show you from the back here that if you look kind of in front of the opisthotic, there is another bone there, and that is the prootic. You see where I'm pointing? In there. Yeah? We can? Yeah? Okay. So it's a little kind of buried deep in there, but it is there. And then last but not least, certainly, is the basis sphenoid. And the basis sphenoid lies down at the base of the brain case in front of the basioccipital. So it's basically in here. It's pretty hard to see in the turtle skull because it's kind of buried under the pterygoids, most of it. But the easiest place to pick it out is if you just look in through the orbit, and you can see a little prong of it extending forward as the front part of the brain case. Do you see that? And that's the basis sphenoid. There. Okay. So that's a lot, but that is our